Subscribe. MTL World at Mittel World 1 YouTube channel. Swallowed Star 2. Origin Continent. Chapter 268 Reincarnation. Innate Talent. 47th of Volume 6. That clone of Luo Feng's is actually a life form from the early stage of a god emperor. The process of the clone merging with the secret treasure, world in the palm, is taking place on the Origin Continent. The most powerful beings can still glimpse some information. A stranger in the early stages of becoming a god emperor. Such a powerful treasure. Who else could it be besides the Lord of the Galaxy? It's impossible for the Origin Continent to suddenly have two early-stage god emperors emerging, right? Ha ha ha, I still can't hide it from Brother Ching. Luo Feng stood on one of the 5 towering peaks of the furry giant claws. At this moment, he revealed his true appearance, and the mask had disappeared. Di Qing also arrived at this peak and said with a smile, such a powerful doppelganger, and with such a powerful treasure. Besides Brother Yin, I can't think of anyone else. Is this a natural treasure? Di Qing stood at the top of the mountain, looking at the gigantic furry claw in awe. This natural treasure is extraordinarily valuable. If it is placed in the infinite space treasury, it would be worth around 30 to 40,000 reward points. Luo Feng nodded. Based on his long-term research, the secret patterns contained in this innate treasure are inferior to those in the special life remains. But after all, it is still a treasure. Did you obtain it from the dream realm? Di Qing asked. Luo Feng nodded. After all this time in training, so far, I've only obtained this one innate treasure. I've been cultivating longer than you and have explored the dream domain and the Tianzhu realm for quite a long time. I've only obtained 2 innate treasures in total. Di Qing said with a smile. Moreover, in my opinion, its value should be close to that of a special life remains. Luo Feng chuckled. This innate treasure, you don't seem to plan on taking it out of the origin world. Di Qing looked at the scene before him, this vast innate treasure forming a realm in his palm, which is protecting Huyang City. Luo Feng nodded, I won't take it outside. This Huyang City can be considered the safest place in the entire Origin Continent. Di Qing said. The separation from cause and effect is also severed and is very strong, I can't even perceive it. With the help of the Eye of Life and Death, Luo Feng could indeed see the causal connections between the beings in Huyang City within the realm and those outside. But other methods cannot pry into it. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 more figures approached side by side, they were Yangfeng Ancestor and the Thunder Ancestor. What a natural treasure. The Yangfeng Ancestor looked at what appeared to be a claw of a high-level Xuanhuan life, which had been nurtured for a long time within the body of a world-class Xuanhuan life in the dream domain, forming such a natural treasure. The value is enough to rival that of a special life remains. The ancestor of Yangfeng, this is also discernible. Luo Feng was astonished. After all, I have lived in this world for several eras, and I have seen quite a few special life remains and innate treasures. The Yangfeng ancestor laughed and said, I've heard similar news outside the origin world, so I can naturally deduce a few things. The Thunder ancestor looked at the furry paw and couldn't help but say, Yin, are you planning to sell this innate treasure? I can get you a suitable enlightenment inheritance that directly points to the semi-Hunyuan level. Di Qing, who was standing nearby, was somewhat surprised. He knew very well that inheritances below the god level were quite common, but those that reached the semi-Hunyuan level were much more expensive. Not for sale. Luo Feng shook his head. When you plan to sell, feel free to contact me. The Thunder ancestor was also very patient, having lived long, he had long understood the magic of time. Over the long years, practitioners can easily change their minds. In the future, under the influence of the environment, Luo he might even take the initiative to sell the treasure. Luo Feng looked up into the distance. Feng Shi, the ancestor of the Eastern Ji domain, had also arrived. The god emperors of the Origin Continent have gathered here today. Luo Feng said with a smile, this is also an honor for me, Luo He. With a wave of Luo Feng's hand, a cave dwelling, table, and stools appeared, along with fine wine and fruits prepared. Please, everyone, have a seat. Immediately, Luo Feng, the ancestors of the 2 nations, Di Qing, and the ancestor of the Eastern Ji domain, all 5 of them sat down. They are also the 5 most powerful beings on the Origin Continent. I have been guessing who the ancestor of the Galaxy Nation could be, and I even speculated it might be Luo He. But because Luo He is too young, I didn't believe it. The ancestor of the Eastern Ji domain laughed and said, who would have thought it was really Luo He? Luo He, the ancestor of Yangfeng, couldn't help but ask, are you a reincarnator, or have you truly reached such a level of cultivation in just over 1,000 years? Those powerful figures in the history of the Origin Continent, based on their cultivation paths and secret techniques, none of them match Luo He. He should not be a reincarnation. The ancestor of the Eastern Ji domain shook his head. The Thunder ancestor, however, laughed and said, maybe he is a reincarnation of a powerful being from another origin world. As he spoke, both the Yangfeng ancestor and the Thunder ancestor looked at Luo Feng. The powerful beings from other origin worlds have reincarnated here. Luo Feng was surprised. Has this happened on Origin Continent before? From the infinite space treasury, Luo Feng knew there was a way to reincarnate into other origin worlds. There isn't any on the Origin Continent. The ancestor of Flame Wind laughed. But we've heard quite a bit about them while wandering outside the Origin world. If you aren't a reincarnated. The Thunder ancestor couldn't help but say, Luo he must have traversed the reincarnation cycle to come to the Origin Continent, first arriving at Huyang City. It's been just about 1500 epochs, and you have already reached such a realm. Such timing, such strength, truly terrifying. Di Qing also marveled, looking at Luo Feng. The ancestors of the two countries, Di Qing and the ancestor of the Eastern Ji domain. They all felt that if it really took such a short time to reach such strength, the growth rate would be too terrifying. If it were other ancient monsters from different origin worlds, reincarnation would still be understandable. Ha ha ha. Luo Feng laughed heartily. Just consider me as reincarnated. He couldn't be bothered to explain or prove anything. In such a short time to achieve such accomplishments, even when looking at numerous origin worlds, looking at billions of worlds, he is among the very top few. The Yangfeng ancestor and the others at this moment faintly felt that this Luo he might have truly achieved this in a short time, and this feeling shocked them deeply. This talent. This potential. At this moment, the god kings and monarchs of the Origin Continent, along with many other god kings, were all speculating about the events in Huyang City. They vaguely sensed a certain possibility. The three of them, Emperor Yan, Emperor Shi, and Emperor Wu, had gathered together. The true identity of the Lord of the Galaxy is most likely that Luo he. Di Yan, feeling uneasy, sat on the throne, his enormous fiery wings drooping with slender scales, his tail swaying restlessly, and the flames on his body flickering and twisting. Why are you so anxious? Di Wu said. Even if there is a powerful secret treasure around Huyang City, can it prove that the Lord of the Galaxy is Luo he? Sister Wu, did you not see the power of that treasure? It has already reached the upper limit of the Origin Continent. Di Yan said anxiously. Even the isolation of the Huyang City is stronger than the Thunder Mountain. I can't feel any life within the Huyang City at all right now. Di Shi also nodded coldly from the side. In terms of isolation, Thunder Mountain has been ranked first before the cause and effect, and it can be called the first holy land. Now, the isolation effect of Huyang City is even stronger. Even treasures depend on their masters to wield them. Di Yan said. For example, even if Guishu and the others have powerful treasures, they couldn't unleash much of their power. However, the might of that super giant claw is so strong, the master of this treasure must be above us. A being as powerful as this suddenly appearing on the Origin Continent, along with such a powerful treasure, who else could it be besides the Lord of the Galaxy? Di Yan said urgently. And those 5 continuous mountain ranges have already surrounded Huyang City for hundreds of miles. Considering the speed at which the Luo he is rising. Considering that the former ruler of the Galaxy Kingdom killed the rulers of 3 other kingdoms, yet the territory ended up in Luo he's hands. The Lord of the Galaxy hates evil as much as he loves his own country. If you take a closer look at Luo he's growth journey, he also hates evil as much as he loves his own country. Di Yan said anxiously, considering all aspects, there's an 80 to 90% chance that Luo he is the ruler of the Galaxy Kingdom. As the first emperor of the Yangfeng ancient kingdom, Di Yan was even able to unite 2 emperors, making their group the most powerful force among the many emperors of the Yangfeng ancient kingdom. Di Yan's vision is naturally sharp. He had long noticed Luo Feng's potential and wanted to suppress him a bit, but he never expected Luo Feng's growth to be so terrifying. Even if he is the Lord of the Galaxy, so what? We haven't plundered billions of lives. Di Shi said calmly. We don't have any major grievances with him either. Di Wu, you and Di Chu have quite a deep-seated grudge, don't you? Di Yan said. We didn't kill any of the Luo he's clans or sect disciples. Di Wu said. As for the grievances with Di Chu, he is alive and living well, but I lost 2 children. I'm the one who suffered most. We are ultimately the emperors of the Yangfeng ancient kingdom, the ancestors are merciful, and as long as it is not a grave mistake, they will protect us. Di Shi looked at Di Yan. I know what you mean, you want to leave the Origin Continent. Di Yan looked at Di Shi. Don't leave your fate in the hands of other powerful people. After determining that Luo he should be the ruler of the Galaxy Kingdom, Di Yan had already made a decision. I don't want to leave. Di Shi shook her head. I've heard that outside the Origin world, those of us who only possess ultimate realm life forms are the weakest and lowest. I'd rather survive on the Origin Continent for billions of years than go out. Di Yan didn't persuade anymore. If they wait until the Origin Continent is close to extinction and he leaves with Di Shi would definitely agree. But now there are still billions of years left, which is a very long time, so it's perfectly normal for Di Shi to be unwilling to leave. Elsewhere, Emperor Chu gazed towards the direction of Huyang City. The enormous fluffy paw dragging Huyang City was far more terrifying than the Thunder Mountain. To be able to control such a treasure, and even do so without fear, not worrying about being seized by the ancestors, but instead actively showcasing it. Di Chu thought to himself, it must be that Galaxy Emperor. He displayed such methods and such powerful treasures in Huyang City, just to protect Huyang City. The emperors are not fools. This time, the methods Luo Feng displayed in Huyang City, combined with past traces, easily led everyone to a common speculation. Luo Feng, formerly known as Luo He, might be the lord of the galaxy. Is my disciple the ruler of the galaxy kingdom? Could it be? Di Chu looked a little confused, feeling a bit flustered. Luo He. Di Chu suddenly sent a message to contact him. Master. Luo Feng responded. Luo He, are you the ruler of the Galaxy Kingdom? Emperor Chu asked again. Yes, I am the lord of the Galaxy Kingdom. It is disciple's fault that I kept it a secret from the master for so long. Luo Feng replied. Di Chu only felt his blood boiling, and his head rumbling. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe. MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel.